During our recent visit to Hershey, Pennsylvania, we decided to take the trolley tour. The tour lasts 1.5 hours and takes you around the town of Hershey to the various sites. You will see where all of the Hershey candies are made, the mansion that Milton Hershey himself resided in with his wife, and also many schools that he built. Mr. Hershey had a profound impact on public education. Our tour guide was very humorous and interesting to listen to. He kept everyone's attention for the entire time. In this tour, you will learn about the history of Milton Hershey and how he finally became a successful businessman after 4 failed attempts and bankruptcies. And best of all, every time that you purchase a Hershey's chocolate, you are helping fund education. All of that will be outlined in the tour.
That is front
So we're
back,
getting ready to get on trolley number 6.
All right. I think that covers everything I need to say. We're just checking in with our crew, making sure we're good to go. Yeah. All right. You've had your ticket scanned. You may head on out to trolley car number 6.
I'm ready for the air-conditioned trolley and the free candy.
Candy.
Thank the Lord for that.
Yes. So what did you think of the ride and the little bit of Chocolate World that you saw?
I liked it.
Yeah, we're going to be
very
doing more of
tasty
Chocolate
ride.
World once we get off the trolley. But we had a 10-10 ride scheduled, so.
Morning. Contained. Anyway, we're going to be leaving shortly here. A couple ground rules. I know you've probably heard it out there. I just want to reiterate in here. For your safety, convenience, and so everyone can have an enjoyable tour. And that is, 1, once we get going, remain seated at all times. Number 2, you have a smartphone, please put it on airplane mode so that you're not receiving or making phone calls during the trolley tour, interfering with someone else being able to hear the show. Number 3, personal conversations. If you need to have them, we ask that you keep it very soft and minimal, again, so you're not interfering with someone else's ability to hear the show. Number 4, I will occasionally hand out candy. But there's a condition. That condition is this. You have to laugh at my jokes. Wait, I gotta tell one first. So let me give you a test joke. I'll see what your temperament is. Why did the chicken cross the road? To get the other side is what you would think, but the actual answer is this. The chicken crossed the road to prove to the possums and skunks that you could. Think about it. When's the last time you ever saw a dead chicken on the road? Are there any nurses on board? You are? Can you tell me why a nurse carries a red pen? Do you carry a red pen? No. Then how the heck do you draw blood?
I work with the rich. Most of them are blue bloods.
Very good. That deserves a reward. So when they come on, everyone applaud. Is there some open seats back there somewhere? Okay.
A kiss?
You are a special guest, the late arrivers. All right. Which means I'm your tour guide. And I love to begin the trolley with everybody asking me a question. Here's the question I want you to ask me. I think by now you noticed you're on a trolley. So I want you all to ask me when I say 1, 2, 3, go. Say, Brian, why are we on a trolley? 1, 2, 3, go.
Brian, why are we on a trolley?
Because you bought the ticket. What other reason is there? No, I do hope you enjoyed the seats. They are wood. I hope you find them comfortable, because you're going to be in those seats for the next 3 hours of your life. Yes, young lady, this is a 3-hour tour. And it ends on an island. That's a generational joke. Not all generations get it. I will tell you this. When we get to the island, I'm going to have you all help me look for my very favorite cookie. Ginger. Tour officially. I want to show all of you a great sight to come back when you get off the trolley. Great sight to go and get a selfie or a group photo. Okay? You may not have thought about this before, but I want to make sure you're aware of this. I don't want you to miss the opportunity. So as we turn here, if you look out the window to the left with me, I want to show you this site because it's very, very unique. It's called the Kissmobile. Right there.
Look at that,
Great place to come back and get a selfie. Okay. All right, let's start the tour officially. So actually, why are you riding on a trolley? Well, historical perspective. In the early days of Hershey, the main means of transportation around town was a trolley. Why? Well, 1903 is when Mr. Hershey started building a factory to make chocolate and a town for the workers who would work in that factory. We needed effective means of mass transportation to get the workers from the homes consistently to the factory on time. There's a problem in 1903 though. What's the number one means of transportation in the United States? Horses, correct. Milton was planning a modern town with paved roads. He did not want to deal with horses because they're known for a very bad habit, which is what?
Pooping.
Okay, not pooping, this is Hershey. Their bad habit is leaving chocolate drops everywhere. You want to talk about the original Hershey Kiss? Yeah, you like that one, did you? So if horses are out in 1903, what's available to Milton? Could he have set up a bus system? No. Buses have yet to exist. Could he do something with cars? Okay, so cars exist,
Yes, sir.
but it wasn't cheap, it wouldn't be effective. So cars are out. How about trains? Yes. Trains have been around since 1826. He could have set up a train system, but here's the problem he was dealing with. The hydrangeas. You came on the trolley just to see our hydrangeas. Okay, that's great. You know what you have to do? This is what you better do. When the tour is done later in the day, don't do it in the mid-afternoon, it'll be too hot. Take her up to the Hershey Gardens. 26 acres of beautiful landscape. So if a train's out, what's available to them was a relatively new technology called the electric trolley. Horse-drawn trolleys have been around for years. Electric trolleys were newer. The electric trolley was pretty cool because it operated like a train. It rode on tracks. It was driven by a motorman who could start and stop the trolley like you do a bus. It ran on electricity, so it never needed refuel. So it could constantly cycle around. And you could ride it for just a nickel, and you could ride it for that same nickel all day long. Now before you sit there and think that's a great deal, this is what you have to put in perspective. If you worked at the factory, your salary was 5 cents an hour. You worked a 10-hour day, 5.5 days a week. Your total pay per week was about $2.75. If you rode the trolley every day, that'd be 25 cents off the top of your salary right off the bat. So early on, not a lot of people constantly rode the trolley. That's okay because Mr. Hershey was a very wise man. He made the trolley dual purpose. See, if you were on one of those 1905 trolleys, folks, you guys up here would be people. And you guys would be cans of cow's milk. Because Mr. Hershey used the trolley as his main means of getting milk from the dairy farms to the factory. It operated that way until about 1946. And the trolleys were finally replaced by buses and milk trucks. So, let's talk about Mr. Hershey now. Enough about trolleys. About 1 mile southeast of where we're at right now, Milton Hershey was born on a little farm. Excuse me. His original home is preserved. We're going to see it later in the tour. I have something very, very critical to tell all of you, though, and you need to listen really, really carefully. Ready for this?
They're going to show you the whole park.
Milton Hershey was born a long, long time ago at very young age. Yes, John, he was a baby. How'd you know that?
I got it, man.
57th run, you finally got it. Did you guys know that? He was a baby when he was born. Isn't that cool? You know what's really cool is this. He was born in 1857. You ready for this? I'm going to blow you away. When he was born in 1857, he was born to his parents.
Oh, wow.
Think about that. You know, when you're born to your parents get two very special blessings in life. Blessing number one is you. Blessing number two is they get to name you. And you decide later on whether that's a true blessing or not, but that's your problem, not theirs. Milton's parents named him Milton S. Hershey. And I'm going to tell you what the S stands for. In fact, they're going to spell it. Can you all repeat after me? Everybody say S. S. M. M. O. O. R. R. E. E. S. S. S'mores. Milton S'mores Hershey. No, you don't believe me? All right, you're right. I'll tell you what his actual middle name was. Snavely. Now, is it s'mores sweeter? Milton Snavely Hershey. The reason it was Snavely is Milton Hershey's born into Pennsylvania Mennonite culture. Common practice in Pennsylvania Mennonite culture is to give children for their middle name the mother's maiden name. Milton's mother was Veronica Buckwalter Snavely, but everybody just called her Fanny. Makes sense, doesn't it? You know what? To get this job, you know what they make us do? They make us research why she was called Fanny. In case anyone on board the trolley ever would say, "Hey, Brian, why was she called Fanny?" Why was she called Fanny? That was supposed to be theoretical. Really? John, I can hear. Okay, I better tell, huh? All right, here's the deal, folks. That Fanny research I was supposed to do, right? I'm a little behind in my Fanny research. If you come next week, I'll get to the bottom. Anyway, look out the window right now. I'm going to change the subject deliberately. This is the entrance coming up right here to the Hershey Chocolate Factory, what we call the West Plant. See those street lamps? Those are the only Hershey Kisses that do not have calories. But if this bus passes, all right, you look up the hill, you see that white building? That's the chocolate factory. Ladies and gentlemen, inside that factory, let me tell you a little trivial fact. That's where they make 3 million pounds of chocolate candy every single day. The reason she was called Fanny is this. Her name is Veronica, but in Pennsylvania Dutch, the nickname for Veronica is pronounced Fanny. If you anglicize it, it becomes Fanny. Now, Fanny Hershey married her husband, Henry. Henry Hershey was the son of a dairy farmer and a Mennonite, so he was supposed to be a farmer. He did not like farming. He wanted to have adventure. He wanted to invent things. He wanted to travel. He wanted to be rich. This man was pretty smart. He came up with 17 different ways of getting rich quick in his lifetime. But he had one problem. Absolutely no success whatsoever in anything. So growing up, the family was very, very poor. He moved around a lot. Milton Hershey went to 7 different schools by the time he was 14. His education never got above the 4th grade level. When he was 14, he went to his parents and told them he wanted to quit school. They said he could if he got an apprenticeship. Fanny Hershey contacted Mr. Royer in Lancaster. That gentleman gave Milton an apprenticeship in his caramel candy making shop. Starting at 14, for the next 4 years, Milton learned how to make caramels. At 18, he borrowed $150 from his aunt, moved to Philadelphia with his knowledge, and started his first candy business. The year was 1876. And ladies and gentlemen, that's our tour. Thank you. Yes, that's an actual job.
Taste testing factory.
It's a real job. You're interested, you can apply online, but you better have a really good palate. Now, look out this way. See that big white building? You saw that before. That is the chocolate factory, the West Plant. At 800,000 square feet, the largest chocolate candy manufacturing plant in the world. Not only does it produce 3 million pounds of chocolate candy every day. What do you see in my hand? Everyone, what do you see in my hand? Yes. Look at the building now. Inside that building, they are making 1,000 of these every single second. Wow. So in one day, ladies and gentlemen, they will make 70 million Hershey Kisses. Yep, 70 million. And they do that every day of the year. Which means, due to my connections, I can offer all of you right now one of the freshest Hershey Kisses you will ever have in your life. Would you like one? All right, so what I'm going to do is start it on this side. We'll send it straight back, across the back, and we'll come up here and we'll finish with you guys. Please don't be that person. That's when, you know, the tree comes to you, it's full, and when it leaves, there's only two. We'll know. Take them, enjoy. Now, important with the wrappers, if you guys can hold on to the wrappers till the end of the tour, that'd be great. I saw some kids sneak on board. Kids, I gotta tell you something. You need to know this. You're traveling in Pennsylvania right now. We have a law on the books. You know what that law says? That your parents must collect all your garbage till you're 21. So give it to them. Remember that when you're in college too. Just bring your garbage home with you on weekends. Give it to your parents. Anyway, I need to pick on someone. Are you a teenager by chance? What's over a little bit? Perfect. 20 will work. Now we do have some young kids on board, so no corrupting. I have a very important question for you. This is dealing with Hershey, with etiquette. What's the proper way to offer someone a kiss? Why are you turning red? You don't know. You haven't started dating yet? If I were you, I'd keep it this way till she's 30. Can I educate you? All right, I'll educate. Ooh, we're in the dark. Now we'll get into the world of knowledge. I'll educate all of you. There is a proper etiquette to offering a kiss on someone, and that is this. You never offer anyone a kiss without also offering them a hug. You guys want a hug? Yeah. All right, we'll send these the same way too.
We get you too.
1876. Milton goes to Philadelphia, starts his first candy business. His first year of business is really good because Philadelphia is celebrating the centennial birth of the United States, so it's crowded full of people. 1877, that centennial celebration was over. The people left, his sales fell through the floor. 1878, Milton went bankrupt. He failed. When he went bankrupt, his dad, Henry, reached out to him and said, "Son, I know how we're going to get rich." "How, Dad?" "You and I are going to go to Colorado and go silver mining." Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Milton and Henry Hershey, believe it or not, went to Colorado and went silver mining. And they found the biggest vein of silver ore ever in the history of the state of Colorado. And ladies and gentlemen, that is why Hershey Kisses are wrapped in silver. Isn't that cool? Some of you look stunned, like you never heard that before.
Never ever.
That's because I just made it up. They did go silver mining, but it didn't pan out. So afterwards, Milton got a job in Denver working for a caramel candy maker who taught him a new secret: how to make caramels with fresh cow's milk. I'll tell you more about that a little later on. I need you to look out the window over here because there's a sign I need you to read or videotape. The sign right here. It's very important because this is the smartest man in Hershey. A dentist. He's brilliant. You know why he's brilliant? Where did he put his office? Right next to the Reese's factory, where they make 2 million pounds of peanut butter cups and Kit Kats every single day. Now, you guys are familiar with Reese's peanut butter cups, correct? Yes. All right, can I check your knowledge base? I have a little quiz for you. I'll ask the question, I'll give you 4 possible answers, and then I'll survey you to see which one, who thinks which answer is correct. Question is this: who actually created Reese's peanut butter cup? God, and wait, let me do the answers. Choice A, Milton Hershey. No. Choice, I'm not done. Choice B, Milton Hershey. No. Choice A, Milton Hershey. Choice B, Harry Reese. Yep. Choice C, Muriel Mars from Chicago. Or choice D, hold on, I gotta make something up. We got a lot of females on board, but let's represent the women. How about Joyce C. Blanche? That's the name of my great-grandmother. So how many think it was Milton Hershey invented the peanut butter cup? Raise your hand. How many think it was Harry Reese? Raise your hand. Oh.
Too obvious.
How many think it was Muriel Mars? Get off. Seriously, get off my trolley. That's a competition, people. And how many? What was my fourth one? Blanche. How many think it's Blanche? 2 people got it right. It's Blanche Reese, Harry's wife. She came up with the idea in 1927. And then Harry and Blanche developed the peanut butter cup in their home, where they lived with all 16 of their kids.
That's why it's HB Reese.
Yeah, hey, they had 16 kids, 6 boys, 10 girls, and 1 bathroom. Figure that one out. Look out the window right here. This is our newest factory. It's going to open very, very soon. It's going to produce 25-pound chocolate wheels and chocolate paste and some Reese's products. Reese's were developing the peanut butter cup in their home. They had a very special person come over and do a taste test early on in development. That person was Milton, because he was a friend of the Reese's. He actually gave Harry Reese his first job in the candy business. When Milton came over to do the taste test, guess what he told the Reese's? I don't like it. It's not any good. And if you try to make it and sell it, you'll go bankrupt. So if I were you, I wouldn't bother with it. Thankfully, folks, the Reese's did not listen to Milton. Ironically, in 1962, Hershey Company made up for Milton's mistake when they took over Reese's in a stock swap. So that today, Hershey's #1 best-selling candy is Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. It outsells the Hershey Kiss, which is only #2, and the Hershey Bar, which is #3. Now, unfortunately, the peanut butter cup is only the 2nd best-selling candy in the nation. It is outsold by 1 other candy. Anybody want to take a guess? M&M's? No. Wait a minute, excuse me.
Snickers.
I had someone say a discouraging word for a second. What is it you said? What? You were on the Hershey trolley. What makes you think it's appropriate to say Snickers? I don't care if you're right. It's just not appropriate. No, Snickers is #1. You are correct. Believe it. Guys, if you want to verify that, Google it sometime. Every hit comes back, identifies Snickers as the #1 candy bar in the nation. I do not know why, but it is. And don't say it's good, because I will throw you off. He moves to Chicago where he opens his next candy business, only to go bankrupt again, this time because of the price of sugar. It ate all his profits up. So Milton gets smart and says, I'm going to move close to sugar supply. So he moves to New Orleans, and he actually opened a 3rd business. Guess what? He went bankrupt again, but this time due to a lack of sales. So a friend said, Milton, I know where you should go and set up business. Where? New York City. Well, why do I want to go to New York City? That's just like Philly. Milton, I heard something about New York City. What? I heard that New York City, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. So he moves to New York City, opens his 4th business, and promptly goes bankrupt. If you've been listening, between 76 and 86, he fails 4 times. So what's he do? For the kids on board, I'm about to say something. Parents, you can help me with this. If at first you don't succeed, try again. That's some of the best advice anyone can ever give someone. Milton returns to Lancaster in 1886. Meets up with his Aunt Mattie, who originally funded him. She says, what are you going to do after all these bankruptcies? And he tells you he's going to open another candy shop in Lancaster. You know what his aunt did? Looked him in the eye and told him something very important. She told him she believed in him. You guys have been in stores like this. You go in and all the candy's under glass cases, right? You pick out which one they bag and sell you. That's the kind of store he opened. His business was okay, but it wasn't great. They were having trouble making the mortgage payments, and the bank was going to foreclose on his aunt. One day a man from England walked into the shop and tried the different caramels, liked what he tasted, asked to speak to Milton. At the end of their 3-hour conversation, the man left. After giving Milton a contract for caramels that was so large, the order would fill the entire interior space of this trolley, floor to ceiling, back all the way to the front, with little 1-inch square caramel candies. But the man does not give Milton a deposit. To fill the order, he needs money. His solution? Next day he goes to the bank to speak to John Brenneman, the banker who gave his aunt the mortgage. He walks in the bank, sees Mr. Brenneman. Mr. Brenneman says, Milton, are you here to make a payment on your aunt's mortgage? No, sir, I'm here for a loan. What? Milton, you had 4 bankruptcies. We're foreclosing on your aunt. What do you mean you're here for a loan? Well, Milton explained everything to him that was going on, and then eventually left the bank without the loan. But what he left with was a copy of the application in his hand for the loan, an application that Mr. Brenneman, the banker, co-signed himself. The loan got approved, he got the money and the help he needed to fill the order, sent it off. 8 weeks later, he got a check in the mail for 500 English pounds. When that check cleared, he paid off the mortgage of his aunt and his loan, and then went back and paid off every single bankruptcy debt he ever had, too, all from one single sale. That's how he got going in the candy business. That try fails, because Catherine suffers from autoimmune disorder that will prevent her from ever being able to have children. In 1909, frustrated with that, she said to her husband, Milton, you and I have the ways, the means, and money. We need to do something for children. Milton said, what do you have in mind, Kitty? She says, I think we should start a school for orphans. And in 1909, they will create the Industrial School for Orphan Boys, what we today call the Milton Hershey School, and we're heading that direction. But before we get there, why did I have you look at those other 2 buildings? The big brick one, the Consolidated School? Well, Milton, when he was building his factory in town, knew education was the key to success for his company. And he also knew the education one-room schoolhouses wasn't good from his own experience. So he builds the Consolidated School, opens it, and closes all the surrounding one-room schoolhouses in the area. Brings all those kids to Consolidated School. Now listen very carefully, because this is how Milton Hershey has a direct connection to your own lives. He has those kids do something radical. They attend school based on their age and grade levels. In other words, folks, Milton Hershey created one of the very first modern public school systems in the nation. And other states sent people here to see what he was doing, and then they went back home and created similar kind of school structures. Milton Hershey is a pioneer of the modern school system that most, if not all of you, might have attended in your life. So in a way, you owe a debt of gratitude to Milton. Or maybe not, depending on whether or not you like school. Now, the other building, in 1937, he opened that as a junior college. And all the kids who went there, if their parents lived in Hershey or worked for him, did not pay tuition. Over here is the public school system, the child of his Consolidated School. All the kids who go here, by the way, are known as Trojans. The kids who go to Milton Hershey are Spartans. More about that later. But I want to show you the latest chapter of Milton Hershey education stuff. Right over here out this window. You see this big building coming up? Right there. That just opened in October. That is the Catherine Hershey Early Childhood Center. That serves his community. The kids who go there come from families that earn at or below the U.S. poverty rate. They can start coming here as early as 6 weeks of age to age 5, so their parents can go work. But that's not the end of it. The kids are fed, they're given clothing, they're given medical care if they need it, they're given education. The parents are brought in and given parenting lessons and vocational training so that they can get better jobs. And most of all, it's done at no cost to the family whatsoever. Everything's paid for by the Hershey Trust. But you know what the best thing is? That's number 1. 5 more of them are being built in the central Pennsylvania area right now as we talk. And we're hoping it becomes a model to the nation of a new way of doing early childhood education. Now we're on the grounds of the Milton Hershey School proper. 4,000-acre campus, 2,100 students from 34 different states. 50% are male, 50% are female. And I want to show you something you will see only right here in Hershey and nowhere else in the entire world. You ready for this? It's going to blow you away. It's right there. It's called a roundabout. With a female Spartan statue. Check it out. You will not see that anywhere else in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Milton Hershey School, founded in 1909 by Milton and Catherine Hershey. It's originally open for only boys. Today it's both boys and girls, and you no longer have to be an orphan to go here. But you come here, kids come here as early as pre-K through 12th grade. Check it out. Over here are the homes where the elementary kids live. 6 to 8 kids per house. And then the school hires house parents who take care of those children. If a child gets sick, they come right over here to the health center. If the health center can't treat them, guess what? 3 miles up the road, Hershey Medical Center and Children's Hospital. And these kids don't have to worry about busing to school because they all get to walk to their elementary school, which is right down this road here, called the Fannie Hershey Elementary School, pre-K through grade 4, right down there. To do comparison, does your high school at all look like this one right up here past the trees? No. There we go. Did it look like that? No. Did it have brick and windows? Anybody? No. Nope. Okay. Well, keep looking, because that was the back side. This is the front. Wow. Right there. That's all the high school. Wow. This building's pretty cool. It was dedicated in 1972 to the memory of Reese. It's got a dome ceiling that's lit up every night. It's made from 9,000 blocks of marble, which came from the Danbury Quarry in Vermont. Who on board has ever been to Washington, D.C.?
Yep.
Who's been to the Lincoln Memorial?
Yep.
All right. This building has something in common with the Lincoln Memorial. The marble for both of them came from that same Danbury Quarry in Vermont. Right? Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are not permitted to take you inside due to the time constraints of the trolley tour. I do want to make sure that you're aware this building is open until 3 o'clock today for touring. You can tour it on your own by parking on the far side over there and entering the side entrance. It will also be open, not tomorrow, but Monday through Saturdays, 10 to 3. So if you're around town for a couple more days, this is worth coming checking out. Why? Let me try to tell you why. Imagine if I really could take you inside. We'd go up these steps right over here, and the door right there above the S, we'd go in that door. You guys come walking in with me. First thing you would notice is this. The floor of the atrium is made out of Italian marble. That's the marble with the veins of colors in it. And then you notice it shoots like, 50 yards that direction, 50 yards this direction, 70 yards that way, to curvilinear walls of a barrel vaulted atrium that stretches almost 4.5 stories straight up to a dome ceiling. And when you look up at that ceiling, you notice something you've probably never seen anywhere else. Across the whole breadth of the ceiling, they project the film that tells the story of the school. And then when the film's done, your eyes come down to this gorgeous second-tier level, curved Italian marble balcony that is bookended by a pair of rosewood handled marble spiral staircases that elegantly flow down to the first floor. In the middle of the staircases, there's a I'm sorry, I keep hitting your knee. In the middle of the staircases is a statue of Milton Hershey with one of his boys. About 20 years ago, I attended a wedding here. The groom was a graduate of Milton Hershey and descended one staircase. Now, the real reason he built here, too, the fifth reason is that creek you see right there. That is Spring Creek. Don't do something about that creek. Is there anybody from California? I'm sorry to say this. That creek has never run dry. I don't know if we can say that about everywhere in California. But Spring Creek, folks, has never ever run dry. Oh, that was a tree. Okay. The back half was falling off for a second. That became the source for water for the candy and his power station, which is right here, with the iconic smokestacks at the back of it. Oh, you guys are in luck.
You can see it.
Yeah, barely.
Oh, you get to see the blue heron. You're in double luck. That's real, by the way. That's not fake.
See it in the water.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's why the geese are the other way. Excuse me, I have to look out the window and watch out for angry people. Oh, we got some, John. We got some. You know how we can tell they're angry? No, they're teed off. Oh, up here, sure, doctor, hey, you're a nurse. Someone's gonna need help. They're having a stroke. I just putter around with bad humor. Anyway, if you guys look out the window with me over here, we're gonna go slowly up to the mansion, but I want to point out some stuff as we pass it. There's a big stone church over there. There's a red metal and glass frame structure that protects a log building, and then there's a stone wall that surrounds the church's cemetery. Okay, John. So I point that out to you, and here's why. That is Derry Presbyterian Church, which was founded around 1724. It's the oldest church in this county, in Pennsylvania, Dauphin County. Up until 1906, that's what this place was known as, Derry Church. 1906 is when it officially became Hershey. Anyway, if you guys have a chance while you're visiting us, go check out the church. Inside that glass building is the church's original log session house, which was erected in 1732, and it's still standing. There's a sign up explaining what it is. And then, go into the cemetery behind it. I know, you're like, why are you sending us into a cemetery? I'll tell you why. Folks, that cemetery has been very, very popular since 1724. Everybody's been dying to get in there. What? It is a grave problem. Especially in winter with cold season, everybody's coughing. On a serious note, visiting that cemetery is worth it for this reason, if you want to have one. If you go to that cemetery, what you'll find inside are the graves of 25 American Revolutionary War soldiers. They're all buried together, graves are clearly marked. In fact, there's a bronze plaque on the wall of the cemetery that identifies the 25 men by name who fought and died to help create the United States. So that's a cool reason to go visit that cemetery. And now, John, is your wife home?
Looks like she got friends.
She does have friends over. Okay, this is John's house. No, ladies and gentlemen, this is High Point Mansion. By the way, if you're wondering what's going on, they give tours of this mansion Saturday and Sundays, and that's what's going on right there. They're getting ready. They're either going or finishing their tour. Anyway, Milton and Catherine built this in 1908 for $53,000. Put in perspective, people, 1908, the average price of a house in America was $1,000. So 53 is a little pricey. So you want to hear the cool fact? After it was built, Catherine decorated it. That bill, $100,000. Don't worry, she let Milton help. Yes, she made sure he paid all the bills.
Yeah.
And she did let him pick out one single piece of decoration. He was really happy with his choice. And when it arrived, he showed it off to Catherine. Then she came out and looked at it and she said, "Yes, Milton, it's very nice, Milton, yes. And I think I know the perfect place for those, Milton." You want to see it? It's right there at the bottom of the steps. It's a pair of sphinxes.
Oh, yeah.
They never made it inside. It's okay, Milton had the last laugh. You know why? We know where he got them from, and Catherine didn't. He didn't get them from Egypt, folks. He didn't have an artist make them. He ordered those things out of the Sears Roebuck catalog, and there they still are, holding up well. Now, for younger folks on board, you have to ask your parents what the Sears Roebuck catalog is, because I'm not going to tell you. No, I am so sorry. Okay, stand back here. Anyway, the only two people that ever live in this mansion are Milton and Catherine Hershey. They only live here together for 7 years. Why? Autoimmune disorder prevented her from having kids, caused her health to steadily decline too. Folks, by March of 1915, she was an invalid. She could not walk or stand without someone assisting her. Catherine could not hold a knife and fork to feed herself her own food. Her immune system was shot, her nerves were dying. In the last year of her life, the only thing that gave her any kind of physical comfort at all was exposure to the ocean air. So she would frequently go down to Atlantic City. In March of 1915, she had a nurse driver down to Atlantic City. They get there, and she ended up getting the flu. So they had to come home. On a trip home, even though it was frigid weather, She made the nurse put the car roof down so she could feel the air blow her hair back. 3 hours later, when they arrived in Philadelphia, she didn't have the flu anymore. She had bronchial pneumonia, and she was too ill to travel. So she took a room in a hotel, and they sent a telegram to Milton. You see where those flower pots are up there? That's the front door where he got the telegram. He packs one single bag, went to the far side of the factory, hopped the train, got to Philly, got to the hotel room, opened the door and walked in. And he was greeted by a very frail, very weak Catherine, who after only a couple minutes makes a request. Milton, would you go down and get me a glass of champagne? Champagne. See, Catherine loved champagne, and she knew her husband would not deny this. He leaves the room, goes down to the hotel bar, gets one single glass of champagne, brings it up in the elevator, walks to the door, opens it, and walks in to find Catherine had died. A nurse later told him Catherine deliberately did that because Catherine did not want her husband to watch her pass away. Initially, she's buried in a mausoleum in Philly. He comes up here and starts building the Hershey Cemetery. Today it's located behind a Hotel Hershey. And yes, you can go there and visit the Hershey graves if you so wish. When she's transferred there, listen to what this man does to show his love for his wife. Number one, he makes arrangements that every single week, as long as he lives, a fresh bouquet of flowers are delivered to her grave. Number two, the very evening of her death, he took a photograph he had of her, put it in his coat pocket next to his heart. He kept that photo there every single day of the rest of his life. In fact, that photo would be the first thing he looked at every morning when he woke up, and the last thing his eyes looked at every night before he turned out the bedroom light. And finally, on the day of Catherine's funeral, he vowed there would never be another Mrs. Hershey. So afraid he was that he may fall in love with someone else, for the rest of Milton's life, he avoids interacting with any woman even close to his own age, and stays true to Catherine till his own death in October of 1945. Do the math, folks. That's 30 years of unrequited love for Catherine. Beautiful and true. Okay, John. So we got a special treat for you. We do this on weekends, not during weekdays. We're going to go in the grounds of where the old Hershey factory used to be until 2012 when it closed. Notice as we turn these iconic bushes, which have been growing there since 1909. Spelling out Hershey's Oak. Gym. That's my gym. Pretty cool. I get to go to a gym in the old Hershey chocolate factory. Now, coming up ahead is something that if I don't point it out to you, you probably would have never realized it. A little subliminal Milton Hershey had put into his building. So it's pretty cool. Should I tell you or should I let you try to find it? Tell you? Okay. Yeah, you're on vacation. You don't want to work. So as we go over this next bumpy thing, look up at the side of the building.
Corporation.
It is subtle. Most people don't realize it until it's pointed out to them. Now, we're coming up Angular Ridge track here that you see on this side. This is my favorite roller coaster in the park, Storm Runner. Why is it my favorite? Because that baby will take you from 0 to 72 miles an hour in 2 seconds flat. Yep. Straight up in the air. When Top Gun was out 2 years ago, I used to tell everybody, ride the coaster. Anyway, back to the history. After Catherine's death in 1916, Milton leaves Hershey and stays away for 13 years. He goes and lives somewhere else. Anybody want to take a guess where he lives? Say it. You got it right. You did not hear this, gentleman. He went to Cuba. In 1960, Milton Hershey bought a 60,000-acre sugar plantation. Moves down to Cuba, where he built a port city, a train system, 3 sugar processing plants, And he built another town of Hershey in Cuba, just like the town he built here. Boy, they're getting fancy now. Check that one out, John. Whew. Here's something you probably weren't aware of. In Cuba, when he's down there, there's a train wreck that killed some of his workers, leaving their children orphaned. Well, Milton takes care of the kids, but he didn't send them up here to a school. To take care of the orphans in Cuba, we built another school for orphans in Cuba, just like the school he built here. So if you're keeping track a little bit, Milton Education starts a school for orphans in 1909 here, starts a school for orphans in 1920 in Cuba, starts a consolidated school in 1914 here, a public school system, starts a junior college in 1937. So does he do anything else? Yes. In 1918, he goes up to New York City, meets with a lawyer, tells the lawyer he has no heirs because he and Catherine never had children. So he says he has no one to leave his fortune to. So I want to give my fortune to the only children I ever had, the children of my school. But I don't want to wait till I'm dead. I want to do it now. With the lawyer's help, Mr. Hershey signed his entire personal fortune over to the Milton Hershey School Trust Fund he created with Catherine in 1909. What did he sign over in 1918? $60 million. And today that trust is worth $24 billion. It is the third largest educational trust in the nation. The only schools that have a bigger trust fund than Hershey are called Yale and Harvard, and that's it. And that's why kids get up to $110,000 scholarships, because they can afford it. But Milton makes another fortune in sugar. What's he do with that fortune? Well, there's a little event you might have heard of. Anybody ever hear of the Great Depression? He returns to Hershey in 1929 and uses that fortune to start massive building projects which keep everybody in this town working. Folks, throughout the entire Great Depression, there was never an unemployed person in Hershey. What's he build? Well, in town, that building where the college was. Or, how about near Chocolate Road? You guys see the football stadium? He built that. He also built the arena where the Hershey Bears used to play hockey. Up here, he builds the Hershey Gardens to entertain his workers and the people who live in Hershey. And one of my favorite things he built in the 1930s, right up here on the hill, you'll see it in a second. The retiled Hotel Hershey. That opened in 1933, modeled after the kind of hotels he loved taking Catherine to when she was alive. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a 4-star resort in 1933. It's a 4-star resort today. It has 3 fabulous 4-star restaurants. My favorite is the circular dining room. Milton had that design, so not a single seat in that dining room is bad. No matter where you sit, it's a good seat. And ladies, this hotel is also very common too. Not common, but up to date, because it has a spa. It is called the Chocolate Spa. You can get, now listen, you can get in that spa a chocolate facial or a chocolate body wrap. And if you want to take your husbands with you, you can. Because they have something really special for the men. It's called a waiting room. Now I'm going to hush up for a second because I want you to take in the spectacular view. By the way, the coaster with the black Now, I am excited to show you something, but I'll have to wait until we make our turn. Alright, that's not our castle. That is Catherine Hall, our middle school, for grades 5 through 8. Originally opened in 1934 as a junior senior high, but today it serves kids 5 through 8 years grade. Average teacher ratio inside that building? 7-to-1. Yeah. All right. If Milton would have never received that telegram in 1912, you would not be on this trolley today because there would be no Hershey for you to visit.
It was supposed to be on the
You are here because of something that happened way back in 1912. So you are connected to history.
So tell that again. What was
And that's why you should learn this.
There was an issue at the factory that
Also, it helps you with the quiz, which I'm
she
giving
didn't
you
want to
right
go
now.
back.
They were supposed to be on the
Now, if you pass my quiz, you get off the trolley, but if you fail my
Get their
quiz,
deposit back.
you take the tour over. It's called the remediation trolley tour, in which the jokes are the same, but there's no chocolate. What's Hershey's #1 best-selling candy?
Reese.
What's number 2?
Yes.
Very good. What should you always do when you offer someone a kiss? You got it. What's Hershey's #3 bestseller? Hershey Bar. Very good. What's their 4th bestseller? Yes. Who said it? Perfect. It is the Kit Kat. Now, hardest question of all. What makes Kit Kat Hershey's most unique candy product? Snap? Okay, possibly. The only what? Wafer? Yourself. The wafer. Anybody else? Wafer, shareable, crackable? Okay. I hate to tell you, this gentleman up here has the answer, but I'm not going to let him give it away yet. You ready? You want to say it now? Say it into the mic. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, Kit Kat is owned by Nestle's. Here's the deal. The original company in Europe that developed the Kit Kat bar gave the exclusive rights to make Kit Kats in the United States to Hershey. That company was then taken over by Nestle. Today, Nestle has the right to make Kit Kats everywhere in the world but the United States. As long as Hershey is in business, it has the sole right to manufacture Kit Kats in the United States. So if you ever traveled anywhere and had a Kit Kat in another country and thought it's different, it's not made with Hershey's chocolate. Yep. All right, one final thing for you. Kids, I'm about to change your life forever. And you're gonna love it. Your parents won't. That's okay, I'll never see them again. Here's the deal. 100 years ago, Hershey had this really unique advertising campaign for this. Ready? Kids, listen. 5-year-old, listen. He's not. I'm gonna change your life. Ready? In the 1920s, their ad said this: Hershey bar, more nutritious than steak. Kids, from this moment on, whenever somebody says, what do you want for dinner, you have my permission to say a Hershey bar. If they say why, the conductor says more nutritious than steak. And with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I have dinner for everyone. All right. Now to get your dinner, a couple ground rules. One, give John a round of applause. Number 2, promise me you'll have a great and cool afternoon. Number 3, if you have any wrappers, drop them up on, I'll put the trash can right at the base of the cabinet here. Drop them off on your way out. And number 4, this is to the kids. Kids, look at me. I need a promise from you right now. Promise me, when you get off the trolley, you will take your parents with you. Please don't leave them behind. And everybody, have a great afternoon. Do your best to stay cool, but have lots of fun. I'll give you dinner right off the trolley. Thank you.